welcome back to another video. I'm Ben with the Everything channel, and today we're going to be delving into a little bit of scam baiting. Basically what scam baiting is you get a scam email and you reply to them like you're interested in it, but you don't actually follow through with any of the payment methods, and you basically toy with them for as long as you can until either you can't continue the conversation anymore or they realize that you're just being a pain in the butt and they move on to someone else. Today we're going to be looking at actually kind of an interesting one. When I was doing the initial recording process for this, I had gotten about halfway through the conversation that we're going to go through right now. I got it all recorded, sent it to myself through an attachment that I can edit it in, and right as I got it done converting, I looked at my inbox, and I got a reply from the Bill Foundation, who we're going to be looking at today, saying something kind of interesting. We'll get to that when we get to it. Let's just dive right into the conversation. I feel like I'm already kind of dragging this on, and we already have a lot of emails to read. So because I hadn't been contacted by him, I went on the Scam Warner's website, found his email. I'm not going to say the email, and in all the emails that I show, I'm going to blur it out, but basically it's the Bill Foundation, claiming to be the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I had reached out and said, wow, thank you so much for choosing me. How do I get the payment? And I got a templated response, basically going over the company's history, saying what the scam is all about, and saying that due to the COVID-19 outbreak, that they were going to be doing it for the next 10 years, I guess, pretty much. And along in the email, they sent a very haphazard membership form for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so I had replied to that. Excuse me. I replied to that saying, I couldn't help but notice in the email you specifically stated that my grant was not to be used for criminal behavior. Does that specify only American law, or does that include international law as well? And they had replied saying that section is to tell anyone who is applying for the grant not to use the money for any criminal act. Specifically, it's for anyone who is applying for the grant not to set it for any criminal act. Hope this explained your question. Best regards. And just on a little bit of a side note, the English that these people use is not very good at all. I sometimes get a headache reading this. This is my third time actually going through it because the conversation kept evolving whenever I record it, but I decided to cut the conversation cold so I can actually get this recorded. Moving on to the conversation, though, I had said back, yes, I understand now, but does international law apply as well? For instance, if I broke the law in Canada using the grant funds, would I be denied future payments? And they had replied back stating that as long as I do not use the grant funds for any criminal act, I'm good. That is just to tell people not to use the money for any criminal act, that's all. We had some people who got their funds and they used it to buy weapons. I hope that is not what you're going to use the funds for. If you're not going to use the money for a criminal act, you are good. And in a second email, he stated, all you have to do is fill the form and make sure you sign it and attach it with any means of identification and send it back here for processing. Best regards. And I had replied back, okay, this is going to be a sticky question, but marijuana and marijuana products are legal in some states and illegal in others. What if you paid me in a legal state because I'm in an illegal one? And it didn't answer my question. They replied back saying, first make sure to fill the form and send it back for processing. Thank you for your time. And I had asked for it to be sent in another PDF because I couldn't get it off of his first email. Bada bing, bada boom, got it done. I should be showing it on screen. If not, you can scream at me in the comments. And after I got it sent, he said, thank you for your time. Your application has been received. I will submit your application for acknowledgement. Once your file has been approved, I will email you as soon as possible. Best regards, Tracy Bett. And I replied back, okay. And a couple hours go by. I kind of got impatient, and I replied, and I shouted another message to him saying, not to be a nag, but in your initial correspondence you said I would be contacted immediately after my own correspondence. I must ask what my next step is, as I have already completed the application and have been eagerly awaiting your response. They replied back saying, you will wait for my message. I have already submitted your application for authorization. As soon as you get approved, I will email you immediately. Thank you for your time. Best regards, Tracy Bit. And I asked how long does the authorization process take, and if there was a chance it would be completed tonight, because I was thinking we could use some of the money together, invest it, and so we can donate more. I was thinking we could invest in toilets. What do you suggest? And they replied back saying, no, not tonight. In the next 48 hours, you will hear from me. Thank you. And I asked if there's any way to hurry up the process and what they think we should invest in. And they replied back, not really answering my question again, saying, when your application has been approved, you will explain what you... God, I don't like reading their replies. When your application has been approved, you will explain what you want to use the money for. Jeez. Okay. And I replied back, okay. When it's approved, you will tell me what you want to invest in. And not really understanding what I'm trying to point at, they replied back saying, we are not in the position to tell you what you will invest the money in. And I replied back saying, well, I thought you and me would invest together, so that's why I asked you. And still not at all getting what I was trying to get at, they replied back saying, I think you should read the messages again. And I replied back saying, yes, and I suggested we invest a part of the winnings so we can donate more in the future. I'm just after your idea on the matter, but if you don't want to, we don't have to. And that was it for that day. I had sent that early in the morning. I hadn't heard anything back that entire day. So the next day I sent back another message asking, any news? And they had replied back saying, as soon as your application has been approved, I will email you with the status. Thank you. And that is where I initially thought the conversation was over. It had been a while since I had sent that thing in. I was just basically getting a runaround when I'd ask for any news. And I wasn't getting anything back. And then, while I was recording it the first time, I received this. And this. Saying, please find the attached file and confirm. Best regards, Tracy Bit. And I was honestly dumbfounded when this happened. I was just sitting there looking at it. I was like, wow. They had to look at that and be like, yeah, this is what I want. Because they had to read it because they got the amount that I asked for right on the second attached image. So they obviously read it and were like, yes, this is all legit. And asking, a little bit confused, as I sometimes do, I asked, how do I confirm? And then they replied back, which kind of started the beginning of the end of the conversation. He said, our bank will contact you as soon as you pay the processing fee. And I said, I'm excited to proceed with the process immediately. Where do I pay the fee? And he replies back, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, our payment method has changed. We'll let you know how you will make the payment as soon as possible. Thank you for your time. Best regards, Tracy Bit. That honestly pissed me off. So I replied back, okay. And then about, I don't know, it's that almost 10 minutes later, I had replied back another message saying, that's incredibly inconvenient. I wish you told me this before the process had started. Are you sure you know what you're doing? And that had prompted an almost immediate reply saying, yes, all you have to do is print out the approval letter and sign it, then send it back to me as soon as possible for processing, Tracy Bit. And at that point, I realized, oh yeah, I didn't sign the second document, so went back to Photo P, typed out a manual, and fired it right back. And sent another message saying, okay, I signed, now what? They replied back saying, "Thank you for your response. I will email you on how you'll make the first payment. Once your first payment has been received, our bank will contact you for a payment. Thank you, Tracy Bit." And I was like, "All right, can't you just tell me the bank can't you just tell me the bank now since we're like talking? Like, why do you have to start up another conversation later?" And he replied back saying, "Our bank will contact you when you pay the processing fee. Once we have the fee, we will send you documents and application for payment, Tracy Bit." I was like, "Okay," and I've been asking where to send the fee. And he was like, "Yes, and I have told you that due to COVID-19 outbreak, our payments methods have changed. Have Yes, I have told you that due to the COVID-19 outbreak, our payments methods has been changed. I will inform you on how to make the payment for processing. Thank you for your time. Best regards, Tracy Bit." And I was like, "Yes, and I'm asking about the updated info that you should have already. Ask again. Do you know what you're doing, or should I find another organization that has more professionalism?" And a little side note here before we get to the very end of the conversation. In case you're wondering about my use of English, I know that these people can't understand English very well. Me and you, the listener, you know what I'm saying. You know I'm kind of saying it in a roundabout way, but if I was emailing you about this legitimately, you would know what I'm saying. These people don't know what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it the way I'm saying it, because they don't know. But anyone else who I talk to about it would know. But they understand just enough of it to keep coming along. With that being said, the reply to my last message was, "We usually bank account payments, but due to the COVID-19 outbreak, we have changed it to a PayPal payment method. That's why I told you to please have patience so I can give you our right payment info for the payment." I replied back saying, "I'd like to know how many other people have been deceived into waiting. Why can't I get the PayPal info now? The application is approved, the receipt is approved. The only person holding up the process is you. I ask again, should I go elsewhere for the fund? I'm thinking it's a yes." And they replied back saying, "I asked you to hold because our PayPal account has too much payments that has not been verified, and I doesn't want you to pay there, and you will have to wait longer days for we to confirm your payment as people have paid before you. Just give me some time and I will send you a payment info to make the payment. I am sorry for any inconvenience you may think and giving you. Thanks for your time." And I responded back, just trying to kill the conversation. Not trying to kill the conversation to kill the conversation. I responded back, "I think I'll go through another foundation for the grant funding. Thank you for your time. Best regards, Manuel." Now, I do have to give the Bill Foundation this, though. They were incredibly professional to my just abrupt ending of my end of the process. They responded back saying, "Yes, yo can go to another foundation. I have to right to force you. I just told you that most of our payment method last her in processing due to the COVID-19 outbreak. This is the main reason why I told you to hold and have some patience." And that's pretty much where I left off the conversation. Again, I'm sorry about the pause and uploads. I do plan on doing a couple more of these videos. I have a few more that I'm about to wrap up and a few more that I'm just starting to reply to. So hopefully those will be getting wrapped up shortly within the next couple days. This has been Ben Turner with the Everything Channel, and I hope you all have a good day.